well-known giant killers, Sutton United host Leyton Orient. The O's were just a penalty shootout away from the championship as recently as 2014. Now a non-league side for the first time since 1905. This, they hope, is where the resurgence begins. Well, hugely frustrating for Sutton that they come into the opening game of the season with a raft of injuries. New signings Anthony Jeffrey and Simon Walton among those who miss out. First choice keeper Ross Warner is already feared out for the season with a knee problem he suffered while out jogging. 4 summer recruits do start though in Lafayette, Thomas, Davis and the goalkeeper Jamie Butler. Now the time for new beginnings, for fresh aims and objectives as we get underway in the National League season. A clean slate, new opportunities. Of course, long pre-seasons over, players rested and recuperated and raring to go, and a National League season ahead that promises much, Adam Berger. Coulson forward from the back. Elakobe's in there too.
I think it's always a dangerous angle for Sutton. If you get it right, you beat that first man. He drops so deep on the 6-yard box. Could cause Jamie Butler a few problems because he likes to come out and try and punch as much as possible.
He spent most of his career in the Championship, Mac enough he can deliver a mean set piece, but after the big build-up, he couldn't do it on that occasion.
Maybe disappointed.
Spence here to take the throw in. This is Kenny Davis. Placed away Matt in the middle. Eastman was one of them. That's who he looked for, and headed behind by Lawless for a corner. Nicky Bailey has gone across to take this. Now it's Sutton's turn to try and threaten from a set piece as we await the opener here. Over towards Collins. Davis was beaten to it as Coulson gets it clear.
That was one off the training ground there. I mentioned before.
Headed by Aswad Thomas, one of the recruits from Dover. A bit of space here for James Dayton to work with. He hasn't had much of that so far. That's a really good ball over as well, and it needed dealing with by Bailey.
Very hopeful for a good season this year.
Con was a good one as Dundas looks to try and make something of it. Widdowson had to be careful there. It's a penalty. Widdowson with the challenge. The referee seemed to have a really good view and was left in no doubt. Widdowson lost his footing, and I have to say on first sight that looked a stick-on penalty.
Well, it's one of those ones you just don't deal with. You need that bit of communication. You let the ball bounce, and Dundas is there. It's a clumsy challenge. You get the wrong side of it, and all of a sudden it's in the striker's favour. It's a clumsy challenge from Widdowson. You let the ball bounce, cause your own problems, and it's good strength there, and it's the one ball that's caused Leyton Orient problems. It's a good decision there.
Almost a quarter of an hour gone. It is Jamie Collins scored that penalty against Leeds in the Cup. Scores the opening goal of the National League season. Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. The captain leading by example. And Sutton United are up and running.
Well, you always get one of these feelings when you watch from the sidelines that it's going to end up in the back of the net. He is so confident, he knows which way he wants to go. Allows the keeper just to dive that little bit early and sends in the wrong way. It's been a good start from Paul Doswell's side, and the coolly taken penalty from the captain. New players with new energy. It's so important they just sort of keep their cool.
McAnuff sends it in. The header was by the goal scorer Collins. Wide here for Elakobe. That's a good ball in, and it's headed clear by Lafayette. Starting to become a growing threat from the wide areas. Unsure clearance by Collins. Bit of pressure here for Sutton to deal with. Elakobe, lots of players forward. Dayton to swing in the cross. Header clear was by Dundas. It'll be Charlie Lee with another one of those long throw-ins. And the goalkeeper underneath the crossbar was unsure. The referee has given the free kick in favour of Sutton United.
Before the game, Jamie Butler, he likes to come for a lot of things. He came for the early one and he didn't get there. So when you leave one on the goalkeeper, it just puts him in a little bit of doubt next time he goes out there. So it was never ever going to be a goal there from David Mooney.
He knows that with the additions they've made over the summer, they have more strength in depth, Sutton, than perhaps they've ever had. What is their second season back in the 5th tier? Davis will give chase. He's got Cadogan waiting in the middle. Coulson read that very well indeed, and he needed to.
It's in a tricky position there.
Oh, he's really dwelt on that, and it was Stundus trying to make the most of it. Misjudged by Eastman. Leyton. Leyton Orient. Just pushing and probing here. Leyton looking to head for that byline. He was challenged by Aswad Thomas. They're asking the question here, Leyton Orient, but the referee says corner.
This is clumsy because you just give the referee the opportunity and the decision to give a penalty. So that's very, very close. He gets one-on-one. Doesn't even play the ball there.
Leyton it was with... It was a pretty clumsy challenge, really. Lafayette. Cadogan. Eastman's the player who gives chase. He's been trapped by Coulson. Nice trick there by Craig Eastman. And it drew the challenge and the foul from Coulson.
Such a great little bit of quick feet there. Clumsy there from Coulson. He's not really going anywhere.
And there's the new scoreboard that the FA Cup money helped pay for at the Knights Community Stadium, and it makes happy reading for Sutton United supporters so far. As the rain now, I said it was spitting a bit, well, it's really starting to come down quite heavily. The pitch was dry, it won't be dry for much longer, and neither will we actually up here. It's flicked on at that near post. Out it comes to Spence, plenty still forward for Sutton. And it goes, a great ball, and the goalkeeper is stranded, and it's been turned home. It's a second here for Sutton United, and it's the other centre-half, Dean Beckwith, who's got his name on the score sheet. The opening day is going totally to plan for Sutton United. It's all going wrong for Leyton Orient.
I'm just looking at the Leyton Orient players after the goal was scored. They're just looking at each other. No communication. You've got to start marking runners. They defend the ball there pretty well. There's enough bodies there to see the danger out. They don't do enough to stop the cross coming in. It's a great ball down that corridor of death. And it's a well-taken finish there from Dean Beckwith, just free. Great ball in, just around Ella Kobe. Just saying for someone to go and attack it. You call that one a goal ball, Adam. Brilliant ball in.
Did acknowledge that. Said that they will have to mix it up on occasions, and this is one of those occasions.
Well, you have to now. There's a time and a place to be playing out from the back and playing pretty football.
Sutton threatening again here. Lafayette, and now Davis. It's over towards Cadogan, who's managed to keep it in, almost found Eastman. It's out here to Aswad Thomas. You just get the sense that Sutton maybe feel Orient are a bit vulnerable right now. Caprice. And now Dayton. This is promising here for Orient. Two in front of him, Eastman and Thomas, and now Caprice, who's more than capable of great wing play, and he's shown it there. Caprice with the ball over. Oh, it's a fantastic delivery, but there was no one inside that 6-yard box. He couldn't have done much more there.
Well, the one time, I was talking about the crosses that he's done 2 or 3 times. He's always cut them back. And you can just see the 3 Leyton Orient players there. They're expecting another cutback. And he goes across that 6-yard box. He doesn't have anyone gambling. The first ball of quality he's put in, there's no one there, but so much better there from the fullback.
Lafayette miscontrols. Lawless is dispossessed. There's a rather cynical trick there, but an understandable one in a way by Liu. It's a case of taking one for the team, I think.
Well, this is an area I feel Sutton have been by far more better than Leyton Orient. The pressing in midfield. Great pressure there from Craig Eastman. Certainly a frustrating challenge there from the captain. Imagine he screamed at George Ella Kobe afterwards. But Also time, Adam, as well. You say so many debutants today for Leyton Orient.
Well, reap the benefits of that eventually, but they've got a big job on their hands here, and it might even get worse before half-time. In the 4th minute of added time. This really should be the last act you would think of the first half, as Bailey decides to have a go from some way out. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, lots of talking, maybe even a bit of shouting for Steve Davis to do at half-time. A miserable start to the National League season for Leyton Orient, but for Sutton United it couldn't be much better. The captain, Jamie Collins, from the spot inside the first 15 minutes got the opener, and then the other centre-half, Beckwith, got the second at the 34 minutes. It means at half-time at the Knights Community Stadium, it's Sutton United 2, Leyton Orient 0. Leyton Orient will be up hoping that they can hit back here against Sutton United. Must have felt like the only way was up for those supporters after last season, but it's been a tough start, a rude awakening to life in the National League for Steve Davis's side.
Well, they've got the wind with them this time.
Well, they just need a base on which to build here, Leyton Orient. There is plenty of quality in this side if they can just get going here. Caprice with the ball over. It wasn't bad at all, but held by the goalkeeper, Jamie Butler. Good movement here by Eastman. He's got Dundas in the middle. It's wide to Lafayette, who has Aswad Thomas just behind him. Cross blocked by Caprice initially. Eastman. Oh, that's really nice feet from the former Arsenal man. He's trying to wriggle his way through. 1 or 2 appeals for a penalty, but that was never going to be given.
So he comes up with that slight smile on his face. Thought it just opened up for him there. I thought he just took too many touches. He's a little bit lucky there. I thought he was just going to open himself up and try and bend it round George Elokobi.
He's given a good account of himself, Craig Eastman, so far today. Player who I mentioned says he still wants to work his way back up the pyramid, having started out with Arsenal. Coulson's clearance. First time ball by Lee. It's an optimistic one for Macaulay Bond to chase. He puts Beckwith under a bit of pressure, and that's short, and Bond almost got there. Butler there in the nick of time. And the referee here, he's going to show the yellow card to Macaulay Bond. Well, you can understand him going for it.
It's a yellow card, nothing more than that. But it's the ball I've been talking about, that they need to play a little bit more. You see the pace that he's got there. So Beckwith and Collins, you're always going to give yourself a little bit of space to try and run in behind. So Jamie Butler is a goalkeeper that likes to try and sweep around on the edge of his box.
Aswad Thomas. Furthest forward is Lafayette. Also up there is Dundas and Cadogan. Aswad Thomas with a great cross. It was too high for Lafayette. And Elokobi got ahead to that. We talked about the threat of Caprice down the right for Leyton Orient. Well, that's just a glimpse of what Aswad Thomas can do down Sutton's left. 3 on the edge of the area here, interestingly, for Sutton. But it swung right into the 6-yard box, and the keeper got an important touch to that. Did well there, Charlie Granger. There is some activity down on the Orient bench, and some of their supporters might suggest not before time.
So the cutback was on there. You see Thomas being grappled there. So Granger, good goalkeeping there. You go into an area.
Josh Karoma is the player who's going to be brought on here by Steve Davis imminently. One of the many players that they have who's come through the youth system. Oh, it's fallen nicely to be hit by Lafayette, but it was wide. That's a chance.
There's a big chance there for Ross Lafayette. Will he be thinking, should I have gone across the goalkeeper? They just don't deal with it. Leyton Orient, Coulson gets caught underneath it. Just snaps at it a little bit when it just bounces to him. Could have used his left foot there to strike it across the goalie.
Coulson. Is there a route back into this for Leyton Orient? They've created precious little so far. Lafayette. Leyton's got there first. As he blocked off there, referee again was right behind that and saw no reason to stop the play.
So he's in a good position, the referee. Just more the hand to the face that Leyton was probably more complaining about than the obstruction.
Widows, that's not a bad ball. Collins got his head to it, chested down by Eastman. Coulson got there first for Orient. Now it's Leyton to drive one. Well, it's a shot on target, and it led to one or two ironic cheers.
Well, I said this at the start of the second half, have a few more shots. Hasn't been the ideal day for goalkeepers. So on this 3G surface, the zip on it's there now with the rain that's come in.
Tidily done by Lawless. Good football here by Leyton Orient. Bocco's wide. Clay finds it. Bon and Mooney wait in the middle. It's always a big ask that for Widdowson to get to the ball, but he's won a corner.
I think he just chose the wrong option in the air, Bocco. It's a great run from Widdowson. He was trying to break his neck to get around him. Just when you do that overlap, Adam, it just creates a little bit of space for the person on the ball to get that cross in. Set plays have been pretty poor from Leyton Orient. What a time. They can get the goal now.
Time very much of the essence here for Leyton Orient. Inside the final 5 minutes, it's Bocco who will take it here. Just brought on as a substitute. The referee just halting the corner. That's a word. I think it's with Lafayette. The Orient supporters behind the goal, which they attack here. In it goes from Bocco, fine delivery. And it was Coulson who couldn't get it on target.
Players have given absolutely everything for him today. The work rate, the desire, a bit of quality in the final third, and he's been excellent today as well. Nicky Bailey.
It's Tommy Wright coming on. I know from talking to Paul Doswell about this 20-year-old youth graduate that they think a lot of him here. Played for Salisbury last season under dual registration, and he scored over 50 goals as they reach the Southern League playoffs. So you might say he's earned his chance. It's the captain, Collins, who will take the free kick here as we await the final whistle. A check of the watch from the referee. We started with the sun out at Gander Green Lane, and we'll end with the sun out. And Sutton United off to the perfect start. The serial giant killers have taken another big scalp. Steve Davis and Leyton Orient begin life in the National League with a defeat. Paul Doswell will be absolutely delighted though with his side's performance. They simply do not fear reputation whatsoever. It was the captain, Jamie Collins, from the spot who got the opener inside a quarter of an hour. The second added by the other centre-half, Dean Beckwith, in the first half. And it finishes here at Gander Green Lane. Sutton United 2, Leyton Orient 0.